All right. Good afternoon. I'm Danielle Angelari, and I'm the Executive Director of NAMI Northern Illinois. Thank you all for coming today. We have an awesome presentation by Stephanie Grimm, who is the Co-Executive Director of the Haven Network, a perinatal bereavement center located in downtown Rockford. She also serves as the Family Services Director in charge of providing comprehensive and compassionate grief care to families both in hospital and post-discharge. The Haven Network has been supporting families in our 815 community enduring the death of their baby through miscarriage, stillbirth, SIDS, early infant death, and terminal diagnosis for 20 years. Stephanie's here to talk more in detail about what the Haven Network actually does, both in hospital and post-discharge, their grief care program, supporting a family member or friend through grief, and volunteer opportunities. And Stephanie, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us today, and I will hand it over to you.
Oh, good. Okay, like she said, I'm the co-executive director at the Haven Network. We've been in Rockford since 2004, so that makes this year our 20th year of serving families in the hospital whose baby has passed away. We have a great team of volunteers that all help make this happen. So in the hospital is where we're very hands-on with the family and their baby, trying to create a peaceful environment for the family, try to slow things down so that they have the opportunity to spend as much quality time with their baby as they can, and create as many parenting moments for them as we can. Um, so often it's a surprise when a family finds out that their baby has passed and their mind is a whirlwind and it's pretty much crickets. Your brain stops thinking after you hear the words there, there's no heartbeat. So we come in and spend as much time with the family as we need, and we help create a memory box. So in the memory box are things like all the tangible items of their baby to show that baby existed and is a whole person. So handprints, footprints, all the keepsakes like that, castings, so things like this. So we'll make a footprint. This baby was 3 months old. So obviously big prints, but we can do that for babies of any gestation. These are little teeny tiny footprints of a 15-week baby. So these are about the size of a dime. That's how tiny they are. So all the handprints and footprints we can make on canvas, on cardstock. We'll do this on clay, which captures all the details of their little fingers and toes. When baby is in a condition that we can do this, we will also make a 3D casting of baby's hands, which if you can see closely, it captures all the little details, their little knuckle wrinkles, their hangnails, everything like that. So these are really cool to make. This one is a little tinier, but it shows all the little details, their nails. So we like doing these because families can then hold them like they're holding their child's hand. One of the things that parents have for their baby is usually a baby book. And that's one of the things we realized our families weren't able to have. So we created our own baby book for each family. So on the inside is another spot just for handprints and footprints. If baby has enough hair, we'll capture a lock of hair for them. And then all their details. So their name, their birth date, their weight, their length, spots where parents can just write their thoughts and wishes for their baby. How we honored you is the spot where they can record the details of any funeral or memorial service, their baptism or blessing, which can either be done in hospital with the hospital chaplain, or they can have their own personal religious leader come in and do that. So that's what we created for them. In addition to all of the handprints and footprints that we make for the families, we provide clothing for the families to pick for their child. So this is one little outfit that our crafters make for them. So there's this one, there's a bunch, there's so many different styles, but then the baby is dressed and photographed by our team of photographers. And you can't forget the little diapers. So these diapers are for probably about a 20-week baby. And we always have two. So one stays on the baby and then one goes home with the family in their memory box. So this is for 20 weeks. These diapers are for older than 20 weeks. Aren't they cute? And my favorite, because no outfit is complete without shoes. So we have people who have very good eyesight and very good skills, and they make these little teeny tiny shoes that I can't even get to my fingers on right now. So little shoes, these super adorable little shoes. These are for a 24-week little girl with her fancy dress. So all of these are made by our volunteers, our crafters, and then they go home with the families. Like I said, also, one of the things that we provide at no cost to the families is photography. So we have a team of professional photographers who are all volunteers. They donate their time and their skills to photograph each baby and their family. So all the little details from their ears to their eyelashes, their toes, their fingers, their whole self. And also do family photos with their parents, their brothers or sisters, their grandparents, whoever's in the room that would like a family picture with their child. So in the hospital, that's what we provide. Again, all this is at no cost to each family. But what is important is that when we're done, we don't just walk out the door with well wishes for the family. We provide long-term grief care for the families for as long as they want. And that's done in a variety of different ways because everyone has their different comfort levels of interacting with people. So we have a well check program that is done, it starts immediately. It's done in person, via phone, and via email. Our email program is probably my favorite new development because you can be so overwhelmed in the hospital with doctors and nurses and chaplains and social workers and family members and friends, all the decisions that have to be made, all of the information you're trying to process, but your brain stopped thinking when you heard the words, there's no heartbeat. So we make sure that the families leave with the information that they need immediately. So listings of all the funeral homes in the area, questions to ask, to think about, to ask their funeral director when they meet with them, just to make sure everything is done for their baby the way they want it. And then throughout the year, families receive email checkups with immediately helping with funeral planning. So, you know, you don't want to spend your time searching YouTube for songs to play at the funeral. So we have a listing of all hundreds of songs that would work, Bible verses, quotes to help pull the funeral together if that's what they choose to do. And then just little things along the way, like how grief is. You know, so many people think that it's, you know, a step-by-step process. And then once you start and then go through it, and once you finish, you're done. But sadly, that's not the case. If only it were that easy. Where grief is just a hot mess. And so many people get worried when they're in the hot mess of grief and not realizing that, you know, it actually is normal. So helping families understand grief, how to process their feelings and their emotions through everything. And then just to things like what to do when your milk comes in. No one ever talks about that, but unfortunately that is still something that happens for the mom. So the email tells them that, yes, this is going to happen, and here's how you can handle it. You know, you can either pump it and donate it, or you can dry it up. And then just continuing on with, you know, dad's grief and talking to children, their siblings, other children about grief, the remembrance events that come up. And then when it gets to be nearing the 1-year anniversary of baby's birth, you know, giving the family permission, so to speak, in their own mind, that if they would like to have a birthday party or somehow honor and celebrate, for lack of a better word, that day, the day that their child was born. So many families have said that they didn't know that that was something that they could do. So just letting them know, like, you can do this if you want to, you don't have to. And here's some ideas to get you started for things that you can do. So that's all involved. But then we also have each of our families has access to grief counseling with two of our grief counselors, Delinda Grindle and Cody Barillo. They are grief counselors. So if after a month or so, the family realizes that they need additional help, they need additional support, they can work with us and we will get them counseling at no cost with, like I said, Delinda and Cody. We also have a support group that kind of struggled during COVID, of course, but now that COVID is pretty much over, our support group meets, we are doing it in sessions. So we have a spring session, we have a fall session. And our spring session has just started. So it's a four-part series. So we'll talk about the beginnings of grief. So the reality of grief, how it really is, not it's just a step-by-step like we talked about before. The reality of grief, you know, adjusting to your new normal, how you're going to handle the first birthday, first Christmas, first holiday, all the major obvious first, but also like the first time someone asks you how many kids you have and all those day-to-day kind of things. And then our fall session starts, I think, September or October. And that talks about things like one session will be dad's grief, one session will be pregnancy after loss, one session will be relationship care. And then our last session is just open discussion to just talk about whatever's on their hearts or things that they've talked about at previous sessions. And if you have family or friends or employees or coworkers or someone who would benefit from that, it is also a closed group on Facebook. So if you search Healing Hearts Gatherings and then request to join, there is just a question about how you heard about this group. And that's so I can make sure that the people who want to join are joining for legitimate reasons. So I encourage you to join that or share that with people who may benefit from that. If you are in the area, we also have these cards about our gatherings program that can be provided to you to either share with a friend or a family member, or any clients or patients of yours, we can provide those for you. And that has all the information about the group and how to connect. Supporting friends and family members through grief is always complicated, whether the person has lost a child, a father, any loss, mom, dad, grandparent, sibling, cousin, whatever. Supporting people through loss is always hard to do because people in society today are uncomfortable with grief. And then in our case, when you throw in the loss of a child, preborn or newborn, people just are very uncomfortable. The best way, there are always the obvious ways of, sending them flowers and showing up at the funeral or the visitation, providing them a meal in the first week or so after the loss. But what is the most important is that after the funeral, usually everybody dissipates. Everyone goes back to their own lives. Everybody just not forgets, but just kind of goes back to their life. And the person who is grieving has really just started the process. And it can be very isolating. It can be a very hard thing to do when they're stuck in their grief and everyone else has moved on. I've likened it to standing in the middle of a tornado and the person grieving is standing in the tornado and it's just swirling around them and it's isolating. So just remembering to check in on them, a month, 2 months, 6 months, a year out, and it depends on your relationship with that person, whether it's just a quick text to say, I'm thinking of you, and say the baby's name. If the child's name is Dylan, just say, I was thinking of you and Dylan today. I hope today is a good day. Or sending a card or sending an email or calling them, inviting them out for coffee. Sometimes that lets the person know that you really still want to be friends with them, you want to encourage them, you want to help them, you're willing to talk with them, you're willing to listen. And do be prepared for that person to say, you know, not right now, I don't think so, but thank you for the invite. But don't let that be the end. They may not be able to go that day. They may not have the energy to get out of bed to go that day. Try again next week. You know, don't make it, you know, uncomfortable for the person, but just keep asking them out. If it's not coffee this day, maybe it's ice cream next time. Maybe it's dinner in a couple weeks, but just don't give up. Keep asking them to go out. If it's something you can do, just bring them an extra meal. But always just remembering that even though everyone else has moved on, that they are still grieving. And for the person grieving, knowing that someone is thinking of you really helps. Also, remember the big days, like the anniversary of the passing, and just be prepared to send a card and just say, I'm thinking of you. That's one of the things actually an acquaintance of mine has done. My son died 11 years ago. And every year on his birthday, this person sends me a card. I don't know how she does it. She always gets it to my house on his birthday without fail. And so I have 11 years worth of her remembering my son. And you're not making it worse for the person. You're not making them sadder because you remembered. You're not making them sadder because you remembered their child's name or their loved one's name who passed away. It's actually a beautiful thing. That really is the best way, is just to remember. You know, you can do all the things, all the tangible things, food, cards, bracelets, necklaces, books, all that those things are good. But just remembering the important days. Remember the holidays are tough. Remember to say their child's name, say their loved one's name is always so much appreciated by the person grieving. So all of that is really important to everything we do here at the Haven. And we are a very volunteer-based organization from everyone who is on our hospital support team, which are people who are on call every single, not each person, but our hospital support team is on call every single day of the year from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. With the 3 hospitals here in Rockford. Those are our family service people. Those are the family people who talk with the family and take care of babies, and also our photographers. Those are the photographers and the family service people make up our hospital support team. We are always in need of people to help in the hospital. Just know that there's training required for that. All of our if you are crafty, if you are good at knitting or crocheting or sewing or jewelry making or woodworking or paper crafts, any crafting skill like that, if you're willing to donate your time and talent for that, we have great need of that. Like I said, all of the clothes, the blankets, the outfits for the babies, the memory boxes, the jewelry, the woodworking. This is an example of this. This is made for the baby, so on each side we'll put a footprint. So any kind of woodworking ideas that you have, jewelry making, crafting, all comes in handy. If you are good at event planning, we just finished this past Saturday was our 20th annual fundraiser at the Radisson. So we always need people who are creative and really good at planning events. If that's up your alley, we would love to talk with you if you're willing to volunteer. Events, marketing, fundraising, all those things that go into behind the scenes of running a nonprofit for our community. So that is the Haven in a really quick nutshell. If anyone has any questions or whatever, that'd be great.
Thank you, Stephanie. No, I enjoyed learning about it and like all the different like practical things that you do. How would people get involved with volunteering? Just reach out, website,
Yeah,
contact
we
info?
can reach out through our website, which is easy. It's thehavennetwork.org, or you can check out our Facebook page where it's a busy page, so there's a lot of information on there, and send us a message through that. You can call us the old fashioned way, or email, so that would be great.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, we're definitely happy to share that stuff because I think the more people involved, the greater the reach, right? And that's always
Exactly,
the
and the
goal.
more people that know about it,
Yeah, yeah,
you
for
know,
sure.
can help connect families and workplaces that could benefit from our service since we are the only one of a kind in Illinois, actually. So
For sure. No, thank you so much. Um, Anybody have any questions? And again, do you care if I share your contact information
oh,
maybe if people
please do.
after the fact? Okay,
Yeah, please do.
awesome. I'm happy to do that. And also, you're always welcome to come back and continue to share, whether that's more about your organization or events coming up. Please send them
Perfect.
to us and we can get the word out as well.
You got it. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. We'll talk to you again soon,
All right, sounds
and
good.
I hope you have a good day.
All right, you too. See ya.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.